ATN Global News. First of the headline. Wanted gang releases another video after Clean Rivers DPO Ababio dismisses reports of NASS leadership change. President Tinubu to address Africa International Trade Exhibition. Nigeria's debt servicing gulps 2.34 trillion naira in 6 months. Mali, Niger, Burkina established Sahel Alliance. Mubad's team to retrieve unpaid royals from Malian music. Italian Fabio Grosso appointed Lyon coach. Iceland called gang fingered for killing and dismembering the late divisional police officer of Ahoda East Council of Rivers State, SP Bako Ambushim, has released a video showcasing their armaments. The video, which was seen on a WhatsApp platform on Saturday, is making the round and raising speculations that the dreaded gang is battle-ready to combat the police and suggesting that they are still in the Ahoda forest. In the video, about 10 young men were seen brandishing automatic assault rifles, such as AK-47s and pump-action guns, in a makeshift hut at the heart of an unknown forest, chanting and eulogizing the prowess of the Iceland called. The prime suspect, Give Divine, or popularly called Tubaba, was seen putting on a white polo with a cap and carrying an AK-47 rifle padded with about 5 magazines, surrounded by his lieutenants in front of a shrine. Tubaba was heard praising himself as the Double Dawn, and others hailed him and paid maximum respect to him. Recall that on Friday, September 8, the dreaded cult gang laid an ambush on Ambushim and his men while returning from a raid at Odemide Forest in Ahoda, east of the state. The cultists, who are still at large, reportedly captured Ambushim, murdered him, dismembered his body, and made a mockery video of his body parts. This consequently raised condemnation from different quarters, calling for the immediate arrest of the cultist, just as both the governor of the state, Simnilai Fubara, and acting inspector general of police, Kayode Ewetikun, placed a bounty of 100 million naira on Opara and declared him wanted, respectively. British High Commission says it will explore partnerships with the Niger Delta Development Commission with a focus on renewable clean energy and green infrastructure in the Niger Delta region. The Second Secretary, Political, British High Commission, Abuja, Mr. Hamish Tai, said this when he led a delegation that visited the NDDC Managing Director, Dr. Samuel Obuku, at the Commission's headquarters in Port Harcourt. Tai observed that the NDDC had shown commitment to realizing sustainable development in the Niger Delta region through partnerships and collaborations with national and international development agencies. The NDDC Chief Executive Officer told the British delegation that the Commission had made public-private partnership, PPP, the core policy focus to drive the development of the Niger Delta region. Obuku said that there had been positive fallouts from the conference in Abuja, noting for delegates from the British High Commission in Nigeria to visit us. It shows that they believe in us and are interested in what we are doing. This means that we are making remarkable progress. Recently, the NDDC Executive Management visited the India High Commission in Abuja, as well as the French Development Agency and the German Development Agency offices in Abuja to explore innovative funding mechanisms and secure technical expertise for impactful projects. Governor Umar Eno of Akwa Ibom State has stressed the crucial role of the East-West Road project, which he described as a vital link for the development of the Niger Delta region. He made these remarks during a project inspection conducted by the Minister of Niger Delta Development, Engineer Abubakar Momo, in the state. Governor Umar Eno advocated for regular meetings between the minister and state governors, highlighting the importance of such interactions in clarifying roles, preventing project duplication, and promoting collaboration. He then stressed on the need for a reciprocal level of support from the federal government, considering the environment degradation in the region. Engineer Momo, during his visit, underscored the importance of gathering first-hand information before implementing policy. He addressed the critical issues of security and infrastructure in the region, specifically pointing out the dire situation in places like Eleme and Hoda. He lamented the lack of access roads in the Niger Delta, which serves as the economic backbone of the country, and appealed for unity among governors, traditional rulers, and other stakeholders in demanding the transfer of East-West Road project back to the Ministry of Niger Delta. This, he said, would align with the renewed hope agenda of President Tinubu. The minister also expressed his intention to forge partnerships and invited the governor to collaborate with his ministry in bringing much-needed infrastructure to the region. Coalition of over 500 women's rights organizations under the aegis of Women Manifesto has called on the Minister of Women Affairs, Uju Kennedy Ohaneye, to tender a public apology for allegedly working against the interest of women in Nigeria. The group was reacting to the statement credited to the minister concerning the sexual harassment scandal at the University of Calabar. The group said it was gravely concerned about the utterances on the Unicol sexual harassment case and their implications for the interest and protection of vulnerable women and children in Nigeria. The minister in the video also purportedly insinuated that the students were being used and manipulated by some people to get Indifon out of office, so they themselves could take his place. According to the video, the minister said, since the female students had admitted that they were not raped, it meant they were not sexually harassed. But what Women Manifesto, in a letter obtained by journalists in Abuja on Saturday, recalled a recent meeting with the minister where she was warned to desist from interfering in the case of sexual harassment against Indifon and interfacing with the female student victims in the case, with the possible motive outcome of silencing them. The activists called on the NHRC, ICPC, and other law enforcement agencies to ensure that sexually violated women and girls who have the courage to speak out receive adequate protection and justice. They pleaded with well-meaning Nigerians to lend their support to efforts to rid the campuses of sexual predators who abuse their office and power to sexually exploit young women and children who simply want to pursue academic explorations. Senator representing Abia North Senatorial District, Senator Orji Uzokali, says he has no hand in the alleged disenfranchisement of the people of Abreba and Ohafia local government area in the February 25th National Assembly elections. The lawmaker says the allegation that he accused Aboji and Ameke communities in Abreba of being sympathetic to the agitations of IPOB, hence voters did not come out to exercise their civic rights, is false and unfounded. The former Abia governor's response comes after a group, Abreba Communal Improvement Union, insists that Senator Carlos' alleged comment was instrumental to why they did not vote on election day over fear of being attacked. ACIU, in a paid newspaper advertorial, said Senator Carlos' alleged comment caused INEC not to deploy its officials to the community, which, according to the union, eventually disenfranchised some of their people. The community in the paid advert severally contradicted itself. At some points, it claims INEC officials did not show up for the conduct of the National Assembly election in the community. At others, it says they came but at an inappropriate time. But in response to this allegation, Senator Carlos' media aide, Honorable Madaka Okoro, said there is no shadow of truth in the allegation by ACIU, saying Senator Carlo does not deploy INEC officials, hence cannot be accused of being responsible for the alleged disenfranchisement of the people of Abiriba. According to Okoro, the threat by IPOB to unleash mayhem largely affected the turnout voters in the senatorial district, noting that his principal, Senator Carlo, never mentioned Abiriba with regards to membership of IPOB. He said the security agencies were on ground and documented that the apathy witnessed in some polling units in Abiriba was as a result of a threat by IPOB, a report corroborated by INEX. Abia state government has alleged that the priest of the Anglican Diocese of Aba is attacking it for rejecting 3 requests he brought to Governor Alex Oti. The special advisor on media and publicity to Oti, Ferdinand Ekoma, made the allegation on Saturday while reacting to a recent communique issued by the Aba Diocese of the Anglican Church. During the 3rd sessions of its 17th Synod, the Aba Anglican Diocese had, in its communique, condemned the Oti administration for recently sacking civil servants employed by his predecessor, Okezie Ikpeazu. The communique, which was signed by the Right Reverend Christian Uguzo, Bishop of Aba Diocese, and Venerable Innocent Obunna, the clerical synod secretary, demanded the recall of the sacked workers, even though it faulted the last-minute employment by the past administration. The communique further urged the government in the state to declare a state of emergency on some bad roads in Aba, including Port Harcourt Road, Ohanku Road, and Obohia Road. But responding to the communique, Otis media advisor Ekoma said some paragraphs in the message were designed to mislead the public. He alleged that one of the signatories to the communique was executing a personal vendetta against Oti for not excluding the priest's daughter from the names of civil servants that were recently disengaged, adding that the priest had before the synod also brought two other proposals to the governor, which were all turned down. Ekoma in the statement noted that Otis' administration is enjoying a cordial relationship with the Anglican Church. There was confusion in Omaha on Saturday following a protest staged by about 500 widows clad in black attires. The women, who described themselves as Widows United for the Liberation of Abia, took to some streets in the state capital in what they called Liberation March. The widows, including old and middle-aged women, were heard swearing that it shall not be well with anybody who is against the progress of Abia State. Holding long sticks and raising their hands in prayers, the women moved from Library Avenue to Opera Square before heading to some other parts of the city. It was not known if they were sponsored or gathered from different parts of the state on their own, but a banner they held indicated that they belonged to a group known as the Cry of the Widows Network, Abia State Chapter. The protests led to gridlock on major roads in the state capital as motorists were stuck in traffic. When approached by reporters who covered the protest, the widows who were sweating profusely as a result of hot weather simply said they would resist any attempt to destroy truth and peace in Abia. But one of the widows, who identified herself as Cherechi Samuel, said they came out from different parts of Abia to pray for God to take charge of the state. Cherechi said about 2,000 of their members participated in the protest. National Chairman of All Progressives Congress, Dr. Abdullahi Omar Ganduje, with all stakeholders of the party, have officially commissioned the 2023 Imo Guba Candidate Council Secretariat in Imo State. Inaugurating the secretariat besides Dan Anyam Stadium, Wederall Road, Ganduje applauded Governor Hope Uzodinma, who is Imo APC standard bearer for the November 11, 2023 gubernatorial polls, for constructing the edifice. The national chairman of the All Progressives Congress also called on members of the APC in the state to work day and night in order to win the state's November 11, 2023 Imo governorship election. He promised with other leaders of the party and supporters to ensure the re-election of Governor Uzodinma. Uzodinma thanked the national chairman for coming to commission the campaign council secretariat for his re-election bid. The governor later treated the visiting leaders and members of the party to a state dinner at the Bouquet Hall, Government House, Owerri. The Ekiti Chief Magistrates Court has remanded two persons, Owoseni Adefolaran and Oluwatade Olayale, for their alleged roles in meting out jungle justice on a woman they accused of stealing tubers of yam. The two accused persons and others who are now at large brutalized the victim, named inflicted grievous bodily injury on her, stripped her naked, and circulated videos of her nakedness on various social media platforms. The alleged offenses were committed at about 6 a.m. on September 5th at Aduramiba Community, Afo Road, Ado Ekiti, and the accused persons are standing trial on a 3-count charge before the Chief Magistrate, Bankole Oluwasanmi. The 3 counts of conspiracy to commit felony, assault, and conduct likely to cause a breach of peace slammed on the accused persons are contrary to and punishable under sections 421, 186, and 181 of the Criminal Law, Volume 1, Laws of Ekiti State, 2021, respectively. Counsel to the accused persons, Adefolaju Ayobioloja, urged the court to admit his clients to bail, describing the first accused person as the security man in the community and the second accused person as a secretary. The defense counsel argued that the offenses were bailable, asking the court to grant them bail on liberal terms. Oluwasami, in his ruling, upheld the prosecution's submission and denied the accused person's bail. The trial could not commence because the case file was yet to be received from the police. The case was subsequently adjourned till September 19 for resumption of trial. According to a statement by First Lady Dr. Olayemi Oyebanji's Senior Special Assistant on Media, Odunayo Ogunmola, she has mobilized the gender unit of her office to work with the Office of the Attorney General to ensure that the victims get justice. Lagos State government has announced a postponement of the planned palliative works on the failed sections of the Third Mainland Bridge. The repairs was scheduled to go on for 2 consecutive Sundays, September 17 and 24, between 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on both days, according to a release signed by the Lagos State Commissioner for Transportation, Mr. Oluwaseun Oyisemi, on Saturday. The postponement is due to the heavy downpour experienced in all parts of the metropolis today. He explained that the rain has affected the preliminaries of the planned palliative works on the asphalt pavement of the bridge by the Lagos State Public Works Corporation. The Lagos State government had on Friday announced palliative works to be carried out by its Public Works Corporation and the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing on failed sections of the ever-busy Third Mainland Bridge. But the Transport Commissioner has assured a later date which will be subject to where the conditions will be duly communicated for the palliative works, urging motorists to continue to access the bridge with observance of safety measures. Kogi chapter of the Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders Association has declared its support for Alhaji Usman Ododo, the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress, for the November 11 poll. Malam Umar Damina, the state's Magban chairman, stated this when he led hundreds of Fulani herders from the 21 local government areas of the state on a visit to Governor Yahaya Bello at the Glass House, Government House, Lokoja. Damina commended Bello for his numerous achievements in the state. He said that the association decided to endorse the APC candidate because of the governor's unwavering commitment to the well-being of its members and his efforts in providing security for residents of the state. Responding, Bello appreciated the association for endorsing APC and Ododo for the November 11 governorship election. The governor, who was deeply touched by the display of unity and optimism, affirmed his administration's stance against any form of discrimination against the fallen people, particularly those engaged in lawful businesses, both within the state and outside. Bello stated his administration's resolve against any form of discrimination against any tribe in the state. He, however, urged law-abiding Fulani people residing in the state to remain vigilant and help identify criminal elements among them, thereby contributing to the overall peace and safety of all residents. Police command in Bauchi State has placed operatives and residents on high alert for possible security threats at Ember Mons in the state. This is contained in a statement by the command's spokesperson, SP Ahmed Wakil, made available to newsmen on Saturday in Bauchi. He said the command is working closely with sister security agencies to ensure that no one or group of persons succeeded in destabilizing the peace enjoyed at Ember Mons in the state. The spokesman called on the respective organs to refrain from acts of mischief or any acts that could lead to the breakdown of law and order and public peace. He also advised farmers to evacuate their farm produce in good time before herders begin grazing freely and it might degenerate into the aforementioned. According to him, the Commissioner of Police, CP Awal Mohammed, reiterated that the command's relentless efforts toward ensuring a crime-free society in our beloved state will never be halted. The CP re-emphasizes that community engagements in crime prevention, management, and control, it is desired goals and our primary mandate to protect lives and property, amongst others. Wakil advised perpetrators of crime and criminality to vacate the state or face the danger and consequences that came their way. Gunmen have kidnapped one person believed to be a serving police officer in Toro, local government area of Bauchi State. The incident is coming a few hours after security agencies secured the release of 33 kidnapped victims in Alkaleri, local government area of the state. Toro Town, according to a source, was thrown into confusion on Friday night when the gunmen invaded the area It was gathered that the hoodlums fired sporadic gunshots, scaring residents before abducting a serving police officer and assistant superintendent of police. The activities of kidnappers has affected economic activities in Toro local government areas as residents are afraid to go about their businesses for fear of being kidnapped. Housemail Haruna Dabo, the member representing Toro Federal constituency in the House of Representatives, condemned the incident and called for calm. He described the incident as unfortunate and regrettable considering the current economic situation in the country and assured the people of his continued legislative interventions to bring an end to the menace. Efforts to get the reaction of the Bauchi State Police Command were not successful as SP Ahmed Wakil, the public relations officer, did not respond to phone calls. Bauchi State Joint Task Force has rescued 33 people who were abducted in Al-Kaleri area of the state. Al-Kaleri, where Governor Bala Mohammed hails from, is one of the parts suffering bandit attacks. Mohammed had recently decried the state of kidnappings in the state, identifying the flashpoints as Toro, Ningi, Al-Kari, and Tafawa Balewa local government areas. Acted by the development, the governor ordered the task force to engage the bandits and secure the release of all the 33 kidnapped victims who were abducted a few days ago. However, details are still sketchy on whether any ransom was paid. As of the time of writing this report, the caretaker committee chairman of the local government area, Comrade Bala Ibrahim Mahmood, announced the release to newsmen in Bauchi on Saturday. He said the victims were received from security operatives in Yawan Dunguri of Al-Kaleri on Friday night. After the successful operation, Mahmood commended the security agencies for the quick intervention, adding that the victims will undergo medical checkups to ensure the perfect health status before further action. Adamawa state government has adopted the public-private partnership model for its mass transit scheme. The scheme is to be implemented with luxury and small buses. Already, 10 luxury buses have been delivered to the state by the local assemblers, Anderson Motors Limited. Given an update on the scheme during an interview with newsmen on Saturday, Governor Amadou Pinturi's chief of staff, Dr. Amos Ega, said the government decided on the PPP model out of 3 options that were considered. Ega, who chairs the committee of the transport segment of the state's palliative intervention, said before choosing PPP, his committee considered but rejected direct government management and complete private control. He assured that the mass transit scheme will soon begin with the rolling out of the buses. Sokoto State Governor Ahmad Aliyu has sworn in the 23 newly appointed sole administrators to be in charge of the 23 local government area of the state. The governor charged the sole administrators to be committed to the people and priorities, the security and peace of the local government by cooperating with security agencies in finding a lasting solution to the challenges of insecurity in some of the communities through regular security meetings. Governor Liu also advised the appointees to respect the laid-down procedures and rules guiding the local government administration and shun all forms of indiscipline and disrespect to civil service operational guidelines. He charged them to also ensure they prioritize the welfare of their people in the general development and progress of their local government by carrying out people-oriented projects and policies. The governor also called on the sole administrators to make hard work, dedication to duty and commitment to the plight of the people, hallmark of the period of service, so as to impact positively on the lives of the rural communities. You're watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We will be back after this break. Welcome back. This is the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of our stories. Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa has charged operational commanders to ensure that no terrorist, bandit, or any criminal is spared in the various areas of responsibility. Musa gave the directive at the closing of the Maiden Defense Headquarters Joint Task Force Commanders Conference with the team towards enhancing Joint Task Force operations for national security on Saturday in Abuja. He said the charge was in line with President Bola Tinubu's directive to the armed forces and other security agencies to deal decisively with all threats to national security. Musa said the conference had afforded them to discuss the challenges they face, shared their experiences and lessons learned, and collectively charted a course for the future. He expressed confidence that the knowledge gained, the relationships forged, and the ideas generated during this conference would significantly contribute to the effectiveness and success of ongoing joint operations. Musa assured the commanders that all identified operational challenges would be addressed to ensure operational effectiveness in all theaters of operation. According to him, embracing new technologies, fostering a culture of innovation, and promoting a learning mindset are essential for maintaining our operational edge. He also urged the commanders to always encourage and empower their troops to think creatively, to challenge conventional wisdom and embrace change as they strive for continuous improvement. Spokesperson of Peter Obi Dati Presidential Campaign Council, Yanusa Tanko, has revealed that Peter Obi's legal team may file an appeal at the Supreme Court on Tuesday. Obi is also said to have no plan of changing members of his legal team. Tanko and the National Legal Advisor of LP, Kehinde Edun, revealed this to reporters. Peter Obi's petition challenging the victory of Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the 2023 presidential election was struck out by the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Abuja. The LP presidential candidate has since vowed to challenge the tribunal judgment at the Apex Court. Senate President Godswill Akpabio says the Senate, under his leadership, is stable, harmonious, and working towards a greater and better Nigeria. Akpabio has also boasted that the 10th Senate cannot be distracted by what he described as the innuendo of the merchants of political tar brush by what appears to be a syndicated media attack from outside the precincts of the National Assembly. In a statement on Saturday by his special advisor, media and publicity, Honorable Eseme Eyibo, the president of the Senate, who was reacting to reports in some weekend newspapers about plots to destabilize the Senate and its leadership, said that the reports were complete imaginations and sometimes laced with malice to achieve what senators are yet to comprehend. Eyibo said the Senate has since gone past the experience of the keenly contested leadership election, the plot to drag in senators who initially did not support the emergence of the present leadership into conspiracy that does not exist was uncharitable to the senators and a needless umbrage. President Bola Tinubu is billed to speak at the Africa International Trade Exhibition Program during the 78th United Nations General Assembly in New York. Tunde Mark Alabi, chairman of the organizing committee for the Business, Trade and Investment Summit, component of the exhibition program, made this known in a statement on Saturday in Abuja. He explained that the meeting would take place in September 21st at the prestigious Hilton Hotel located at 1335 Avenue of the Americas, Midtown, Manhattan, New York. Mark Alabi, who is the chief executive officer of the BYK Ventures, will be joined by the notable figures such as Professor Tai Balofin, president of Nigerian Progressive Professionals. He said that Tinubu would also be joined by Kuaria Musa and the chief executive officer of the K-Pro Consulting of New York and president of the Arewa Development be joined by Kuaria Musa, the Chief Executive Officer of the K-Pro Consulting of New York and President of the Arewa Development Support Initiative, an NGO for empowering youths and women in northern Nigeria. The Africa International Trade Exhibition Program is designed as a complementary private sector initiative to the U.S.-Africa Leaders Annual Summit. President will on Sunday leave Abuja for New York to attend the 78th UN General Assembly holding from September 19 to September 23. A statement by Chief Ajuri Ngelale, Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, disclosed this on Saturday in Abuja. The trip will be Tinubu's first UNGA outing. Ngelale said that the theme of the UNGA is rebuilding trust and reigniting global solidarity, accelerating action on the 2030 agenda and its sustainable development goals towards peace, prosperity, progress, and sustainability for all. Vice President Kashim Shettima has emphasized the need for cooperation among world leaders in order to maximize opportunities of resolving the challenges facing the world. According to a statement by the Director Information Office of the Vice President, Olushola Abiola, Shettima said this is his address to world leaders at the ongoing G77 plus China Leaders Summit at the Palace Convention, Havana, Cuba, speaking to an assembly of heads of state and government, the UN Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, and delegates from over 100 countries from the global south. The Vice President emphasized the need to be focused, leveraging cooperation or partnership for finding realistic solutions to global challenges. The Vice President expressed Nigeria's commitment to toe the path of partnership with member states of the G77 plus China towards addressing global challenges. Now, business news. Ijaw Youth Council has kicked against the $3 billion emergency crude repayment loan secured by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited from African Export-Import Bank. The NNPC had last month announced the deal, saying the commitment letter, which was signed at Afrexim Bank's headquarters in Cairo, Egypt, will enable it to support the federal government in its ongoing fiscal and monetary policy reforms aimed at stabilizing the exchange rate market. But briefing journalists in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital, the National Secretary General of the IYC, Maubuye Nangi Obu, noted that if the loan is capped at $70 per barrel of oil, General of the IYC, Maubuye Nangi Obu, noted that if the loan is capped at $70 per barrel of oil, it would take the NNPC about 9 years to pay back the debt. He added that the loan, which will be repaid in crude oil, will further mortgage the future of Nigerian youths who are currently grappling with the harsh economic reality in the country. The IYC National Secretary General said Nigerians, particularly the youths, deserve to know where NNPC intends to get the crude to pay back the Afrexim Bank loan, as according to him, NNPC only accounts for 400,000 barrels of the country's daily crude oil production. He said the youths who will bear the brunt of the loan are not comfortable as the loan facility is shrouded in secrecy, with the repayment plan yet to be made public. Nigeria's debt servicing spending slowed to 849.58 billion naira in the second quarter of 2023. This was a decrease by 43.04% compared to 1.49 trillion naira, which was spent in the first quarter of 2023 on servicing debt. According to data obtained from the Debt Management Office between January and March 2023, Nigeria spent 874.13 billion naira on domestic debt servicing, while it spent $801.36 million on external debt servicing, giving a total of 1.4 trillion naira. The data, however, shows that between April and June 2023, Nigeria spent 565.88 billion naira on domestic debt servicing and $368.26 million on external debt servicing, a total of 1.24 trillion naira. The exchange rate of the DMO, which was $1 to 770 naira 38 kobo, was used for external debt servicing. The figure represented an increase of 75.29% or 37.53 trillion naira compared to the 49.85 trillion naira recorded at the end of March 2023. The DMO in a statement said the debt included the 22.71 trillion naira ways and means advances of the Central Bank of Nigeria to the federal government. Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Mele Kyari, says the company retail has made a profit of 18.4 billion naira in the first quarter of 2023. Kyari, who disclosed this at the resumed investigative hearing of the House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee on the acquisition of OVH Energy by the NNPCL, said this was as a result of the acquisition of the company OVH Energy, which has also resulted in a corporation controlling 30% of the downstream sector. According to GMD, the corporation has been operating at a loss for a long time.
To discharge our responsibility as prescribed by the law, we do need to have capacity to have control or some level of control over the downstream sector of this industry. There's no way you can do it without doing this. We started the NNPC retail in the year 2000, up to the point of the acquisition of the NNPC, the OBH chain. We are not able to grow organically. They don't serve the purpose. There are dealers who cannot pay for the cost of the product. You have locations where we cannot guarantee either quality or quantity of the product that is sold. And we failed to grow organically over 23 years. So the only way you can meet that gap is to do something strategic, and it is very, very difficult in our industry. You have to acquire other people's assets if you want to grow, tangential quickly to meet the requirement of the PI, and not just that, to also grow this company to be the business that it should be. To discharge our responsibility.
Of the committee, Hassan Nalaraba, stated that the committee would conduct an oversight visit to the OVH facilities to ascertain what is on ground before submitting its final reports to the House.
You have spoken to Nigerians in a very loud and clear voice, and I believe the press are here. They will equally take the message. We honorable members, we've listened very attentively to your presentations, and I believe some of us, or most of us, are in a clearer picture of what actually transpired between the process of acquisition of OVH by the NNPC Limited. My take is just to maybe recap what you said. We would love to pay an oversight visit to those assets because it's part of our mandate. Because part of the allegations on the acquisition of OVH is those assets of OVH were not properly listed. So the committee will be glad to visit those assets and to take stock and inventory before we submit our final report. You have
the Speaker, Dr. Tajuddin Abbas, represented by the House Leader, Honorable Julius Ohonvere, said the 10th House would work with other arms of government to reposition the energy sector.
The 10th Assembly, you will find as we go on, is completely different from the past, even as we build on previous achievements. There is a total commitment to ensuring that we all join hands, executive and other branches of government, to reposition, refocus, and rebuild this country. The 10th Assembly...
Further emphasized that the investigative hearing is not a conflict, but shared understanding and exchange of ideas as well as mutual respect, noting that there is nothing the NNPCL will do that would not attract public interest. Now to international tidbits. Leaders of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger on Saturday signed a charter establishing a defense alliance. Ministerial delegations from the 3 Sahel countries announced a press conference. The Liptako-Goma region, where the Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger borders meet, has been ravaged by jihadism in recent years. The three countries are battling a jihadist insurgency that erupted in northern Mali in 2012 and spread to Niger and Burkina Faso in 2015. All three countries have also undergone coups since 2020, most recently Niger, where soldiers in July overthrew President Mohamed Bazoum. In addition to fighting jihadists linked to Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State group, Mali has seen a resumption of hostilities by predominantly Tuareg armed groups over the past week. The successionist groups had in 2012 launched a rebellion before signing a peace agreement with the state in 2015. That agreement is now generally considered moribund. United Kingdom Home Office has announced that a student visa will now cost £490 as against former fee of £127, representing a 286% increment. The government also stated that a visit visa to the UK for less than 6 months will now cost £115 as opposed to £15, effective from October 4, 2023, translating to about 667% increment. The UK government made this known in a statement. New visa fees set to come into effect next month, published on its website following legislation being laid in Parliament. The increase, the statement stated, would enable it to pay for vital services and allow more funding to be prioritized for public sector pay rises, adding that the review would take effect on October 4. The majority of fees for entry clearance and certain applications for leave to remain in the UK, including those for work and study, were also increased. The UK also increased indefinite leave fee to enter and an indefinite leave fee to remain, convention travel documents, and stateless persons travel documents, health and care visa fees and visa fees in relation to certificates of sponsorship and confirmation of acceptance for studies, the in and out of country fee for the super priority service and the out of country fee for the priority service. The statement noted that the settlement priority service would reduce, so it would be aligned with the cost of using the priority service. Applications to register and naturalize as a British citizen and the fee for the user pays visa application service were also increased. Flooding and lightning strikes in Yemen have killed 8 civilians on Saturday, underscoring the threat of extreme weather in the war-ravaged country. The lightning strikes occurred on Friday in the Al-Laha and Al-Zara districts of Hodeidah Governorate on the Red Sea coast, said Hamza Saeed, a doctor at the hospital of Al-Laha. The area is controlled by Houthi rebels who seized the capital in 2014, prompting a Saudi-led coalition to intervene the following year and setting in motion a brutal conflict that has created what the United Nations describes as one of the world's worst humanitarian crises. Also on Friday, flooding killed 1 woman and destroyed dozens of homes in the nearby town of Hayes, according to an official who spoke on condition of anonymity because he was not authorized to brief the media. Hayes is located in territory controlled by the internationally recognized government based in the southern city of Aden. According to reports, extreme weather has displaced more than 200,000 people in Yemen so far this year, many of whom had already been displaced multiple times. Hopes for a more durable ceasefire received a new boost on Thursday night when a Houthi delegation traveled to Riyadh for the first time since the Saudi-led coalition intervened. London's Metropolitan Police has apologized and reached a settlement with a man who sustained a brain injury after an officer hit his head with a baton during a protest more than a decade ago. Alfie Meadows was injured on December 9, 2010, when he was a 20-year-old student at a protest against university tuition fee hikes. He was later accused of violent disorder during the demonstration in central London before being unanimously acquitted by a jury. The Met Police said in a statement that Meadows received very serious injuries when an officer struck him on the head with the baton. It added that the officer who struck Meadows could not be identified and has not been held to account for their actions. The Met said it had apologized to Meadows in June and settled a civil action following a claim he made in August 2020. The police did not disclose the financial terms of the settlement, but British media reported that it includes a payout that could run to 6 figures. The police also said that to help prevent such an incident ever occurring again, since 2010, it had introduced body cameras to film interventions and improved self-defense training for officers. And now, entertainment news. Mohbad's team has issued a new statement regarding the musician's death. On September 12, 2023, Nigerians were rocked by Mohbad on the news of the death of Nigerian street hop sensation Mohbad, who was only 27 years old. In a new statement on Saturday, Mohbad's team expressed their appreciation for the heartfelt condolences and concerns from the general public over Mohbad's death. They also promised to cooperate with all relevant authorities in unraveling the circumstances surrounding his death. His representatives also revealed that before his passing, Mohbad was in court to retrieve his catalog and unpaid royalties from Marlin Music, and they intend to continue the fight to regain them. The circumstances surrounding his death are truly painful, and we are open to provide any cooperation necessary to the authorities to carry out any investigations. Before his passing, Mohbad was in court to retrieve the majority of his songs and unpaid royalties, which were wrongfully held by Marlin Music. Meanwhile, Marlin Music have expressed their heartfelt condolence to the family of the late singer Mohbad. According to reports, Mohbad suffered an injury which later got infected. He was administered an injection to treat the infection and passed out shortly after. In a letter signed by Naira Marley, Mohbad was more than just a signee. He was a brother and a dear friend. He described the late artist as an incredible star who contributed to the foundation of Marlin Music. Naira Marley also demanded that a thorough investigation be made into the circumstances surrounding the singer's death. Mohbad is an incredible street pop star who contributed to the foundation of the Marlin Music. The report urged colleagues in the media to treat the matter with the utmost sensitivity, respect, and care. The death of the singer, who was buried on September 13, has since generated huge controversy after videos of harassment and intimidation surfaced online. Here now is ATN Sports News. Ahead of the commencement of the 2023-24 Nigerian Premier Football League season, Bayelsa United players have been provided with a new accommodation by the club's management. The new quarters is equipped with indoor games facilities. It was gathered that the management of the club have resolved to make players' welfare the priority this season. Meanwhile, Bayelsa United has continued to intensify preparations for the new season with warm-up games. The Yenagoa-based outfit recorded 1-1 draws against Rivers United and Akwa Ibom United in recent friendlies. Bayelsa United will kick off their NPFL campaign against Akwa United. Troubled Manchester United plunged deeper into crisis as Brighton swept to a shock 3-1 win at Old Trafford in Saturday's Premier League clash. Erik ten Hag's side were rocked by a first-half goal from former United forward Danny Welbeck before Pascal Gross and Joe Pedro put Brighton further ahead after the interval. Hannibal Mejbri's first goal for the club was no consolation for United, who were booed off at the final whistle. It was United's second successive defeat. It was United's second successive defeat after their 3-1 loss at Arsenal before the international break. With 3 defeats in 5 league games already this season, United are languishing in 12th place and have the look of a club in turmoil on and off the pitch. Former World Cup winner Fabio Grosso has been appointed coach of League One bottom side Lyon, replacing sacked Laurent Blanc. According to an announcement by the French club, Grosso returns to Lyon, where he played as a left back for 2 years, winning the League One and French Cup double in 2008. The 45-year-old takes over the fallen French giants on a deal which runs until June 30, 2024, with an option for an additional season. The club said Blanc left his post by mutual agreements on Monday after 4-1 home defeat against Paris Saint-Germain. He took over in October 2022, not counting interim coaches. Grosso is the 5th club manager since June 2019. Lyon finished 7th last season to miss out on a European competition for the 2nd year running. The team for Sunday's League One match against Le Havre will be prepared by one blank's assistant, Jean-Francois Voulez. Grosso was a key player in the Azores World Cup triumph in Germany 17 years ago. He netted the opening goal in Italy's semi-final win over the tournament hosts and then the winning penalty against France in the final. He joined Barry in 2017, staying one season during which revealed a dead rooster was left outside his home as a threat by rival fans. And that's the global news for tonight. Before we go, another look at the major stories. Wanted gang releases another video after killing Rivers DPO Ababio, dismisses reports of NASS leadership change. President Tinubu to address Africa International Trade Exhibition. Nigeria's debt servicing gulps 2.34 trillion naira in 6 months. Mali, Niger, Burkina established Sahel Alliance. Mobats seem to retrieve unpaid royals from Malian music. Italian Fabio Grosso appointed Lyon coach. I am Bestseller Chiadamba. Thank you for watching. You can follow us on our social media platforms, Twitter at Atlantic TV Net, Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television Network, Instagram at Atlantic TV Network. And do remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Do have a lovely night.